Alright, are we live? I believe we are live. Let's go ahead and get it pulled up on my end here. Let's see. We should be live. What's going on? Okay, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. There we go. Okay. Okay, it was just a little bit slow today. What's going on, everybody? Wonderbro here with Vacate Fear. Today we're going to be talking about the cycle of anxiety slash panic, put simply. The cycle of anxiety slash panic, put simply. Now, this is a topic that, of course, we've covered many, many times before here on the channel, but it's always good to hear it again. It's always good to hear it in a new way. It's always good to grab a fresh perspective. So, today we're going to go over the very simple cycle of anxiety slash panic here on the channel. It's going to be a good one. Everybody, welcome Deadpool, Craig, Julie, Hank. How are you guys doing today? Welcome. welcome. I've mentioned it the past few streams, but I'm going to mention it again today. If you are experiencing a delay, if you're late to the streams because the notification bell is just not working out for you, if you're getting those notifications late, feel free to follow us over on Discord. Join our Discord chat. I try to make it a point every stream before we start streaming to let the Discord chat know that we are going live. So that is another way for you to catch us live. Let me drop that real quick in the chat. There we go. There we go. Should be good. Okay, let's see. Because I know some people talk about how the notifications they just get let down by the notifications. They just don't seem to want to work. So if you want to join us over on Discord, there's the link right there. All I got to do is click on that link. You can join our Discord chat. And like I said, I try to make it a point to always notify the Discord before we go live. Let's see right here. How is everybody doing today? The anxiety slash panic cycle, put simply, very, very important topic. Knowledge is power. For you to understand the cycle that you're in is going to be very, very beneficial for you and your recovery. So I love to talk about it. Love to talk about it, and that's what we're going to do today in just a minute. Just a minute. We'll give it a little bit. Let some people get in here. Fresh. Come one, come all. The anxiety slash panic cycle, put simply, today's topic. We're about to get started. Hey, bro, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. How you doing, Wanderlust? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. Welcome, everybody. The anxiety slash panic cycle. How long did I have anxiety for? Pretty much my whole life. I experienced 3 what I would call quote unquote serious bouts of sensitization. This is when I was at the worst of the worst in my personal journey. But as far as just anxiety in general goes, I was always a very anxious child. I grew up to be a very anxious person. Eventually, this led to some bouts of sensitization that drug on for quite some time. So, in fact, I don't remember very many moments in my life where I didn't experience some sort of anxiety. Yo, what's up, man? What's up, Will? Welcome to the stream, dude. How you doing, Will? It's good to see you, man. Welcome, welcome. All right, guys. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing started. We're approaching the 4-minute mark. The anxiety slash panic cycle, put simply. As I just said, it is very crucial for you to understand the cycle that you are in. Knowledge is power. So where did this thing all begin? Let's trace it back from the start. I've got to burp real quick. Okay, let's trace it back from the very beginning. When did this start to become a problem for you? When did you really get on board with this whole anxiety thing? So, chances are, chances are you are always a very anxious person, prone to anxiety in some way or another because you worried. You were a worry wart, or you currently are, still are. So if you're like me, you went through your life being a pretty anxious person, and at some point this all boiled over. At some point, all of the nights of worry, all of the overthinking caught up to you, and you had your first panic attack, or you had your first bout of strong anxiety sensations. This led to more worry. This led to more worry, this led to more overthinking, and before you know it, you ended up sensitized. You reached your boiling point, your body couldn't deal with it anymore. You experienced those strong anxiety, maybe even a panic attack, and this led to even more worry, and before you know it, your worry went from here to here. You stepped it up even another notch, and as time went on, you fell deeper and deeper into a state of sensitization. So it's a very simple cycle that most people find themselves in. Now, it is possible to go through something very traumatic in your life that leads to a state of sensitization, right? All of a sudden, you weren't much of a worry wart, but something big happened and it just started to spiral out of control. Worry on top of worry on top of worry led to the sensitized state. Now, that is possible too. But for most people, it was a gradual building up of stress and worry and overthinking that led to strong anxiety symptoms, maybe even a panic attack, that led to more worry, that eventually led to a deeper state of sensitization. So, very simple, very simple falling in to the sensitized state that most people can relate to. Now, what comes next? What comes next? What is keeping you in this cycle? Now you know why you're in the sensitized cycle. You know why the body is so stressed out. But what is keeping you there now? That's what you want to know. So, what is keeping you there now is what started it to begin with. So let's trace back our steps a little bit. What started the cycle to begin with? What started the cycle to begin with was the overthinking and the worry. We talked about how that eventually stressed your body out. We talked about how it eventually led to panic and anxiety symptoms, and then you just stepped it up even another notch. So what began this whole thing is the same way to end this whole thing. The worry, the overthinking, the inner dialogue that you have with yourself about your feelings and your negative intrusive thought. This thoughts, this involvement, okay, is what is stress to the nerves. This involvement is what is fueling the fire. This involvement is what is keeping you in the sensitized boat. It's what got you there in the first place. It's what got you there in the first place. The body does not know the difference between a worrisome thought and a real danger. To the body, a worrisome thought means I am in danger. I am in actual danger. So we can see how this breaks the nerves down over time. So if this is what puts you in the sensitized boat to begin with, this is the same way to get out of the sensitized boat. That worry, that inner dialogue, because of that little fact, the body not knowing any better. So the same way you get in it is the same way you get out of it. So how do we reverse it? We're in the sensitized boat now. We know that we need to retrace our steps a bit. We know that we need to drop the worry. We need to drop the inner dialogue. The body doesn't know any better. The body's just doing what the body is programmed to do. So how do we get out of the sensitized boat? That is by, and we've talked about this a lot the past few days, that is by dropping that inner dialogue, dropping that involvement. That involvement is the fuel to the fire. Every time you start to talk to yourself about your anxiety symptoms and your negative intrusive thoughts, you are pressing enter, you are pressing log in, you are sending a signal to the brain that you need more protection. How does the brain protect you? With more anxiety. This is the very simple cycle. Now, a lot of people hear these words, and what happens is they hear these words, they watch the streams, but as soon as the stream is over, or as soon as they experience a strong sensation again, or as soon as they have that negative intrusive thought, everything that they learned kind of goes out the window, right? They're sitting there, they can feel this fear, they have that strong sensation, and immediately, as soon as they click off the stream, or maybe even during the stream, they start having that inner dialogue. They start talking to themselves, and this is what puts you in that rabbit hole of obsession, and you start to spiral, and this is what signals to the brain that you need more protection. Anxiety. I know it's tempting, and I know it's a strong habit when you feel those feelings come over you to want to get involved mentally, but that mental involvement is the issue. It's what puts you in the sensitized boat, and it's what's keeping you in the sensitized boat. So what we have to do is go from a place of involvement, which is what puts you here and is what is keeping you here, to non-involvement. And at first that can take time. That can take practice. You're so used to having a knee-jerk reaction to these feelings and these thoughts that as soon as they arrive, you jump right in. This is what you're used to doing. You start talking to yourself, you log in, you get involved. This is what's keeping you there, and that habit can be very strong. That habit can be very strong. But if we know that what put us there, okay, if we know that what put us there was the involvement, then not being involved is what's going to get us out of there. Now, here's another thing that happens to a lot of people. Listen up. Here's another thing that happens to a lot of people during their journey. They watch my videos, they understand, okay, well, I need to stop talking to myself, I need to stop getting involved, I'm just fueling the fire. They start to practice allowing these sensations and these negative intrusive thoughts to come without speaking to themselves, without getting involved, letting these waves come. But then 10 minutes passes or 20 minutes pass and the feeling is still there. Or maybe there's a feeling here, or maybe one symptom left and another one came, right? So they fall into one of the most common traps with recovery, which is, okay, I'm no longer involved. I'm being silent. I'm no longer talking to myself about my symptoms and my thoughts. I'm leaving it alone. But why are these symptoms still here? Already you have logged back in. Already you have went from doing very well with the practice for about 20 minutes to logging right back in. And now you're in trouble once more. And now you're stressing the nerves out once more. And now you're sending those signals of I need protection once more. So don't fall into that trap. If you start practicing being silent, if you start practicing non-involvement, you have to stick to it. Just because the feelings stick around for a little bit doesn't mean anything. It's going to take time for the body to come into a state of recovery. It's going to take time for the body to heal. You've put it through a lot. Let's be honest with ourselves. You've put it through a lot. So just because you start not getting involved on day one doesn't mean you're going to experience on top of the world 110% peace and 110% healing within 20 minutes, okay, within a day or two. So the thing is, just because you start to not get involved, just because you start practicing non-involvement doesn't mean you can start getting involved 20 minutes later when you don't feel on top of the world. You have to continue and dedicate to this practice of non-involvement, even if it takes some time. And that's why people find themselves in a tug of war. You know, wonder, bro, I do really good for a week, and then a week later I'm back down to, feeling not so good again. Well, it's because for 1 week you weren't involved, and the next week you started to get a little bit too involved with your obsession about how far you've come. You started to get a little bit too involved with your inner dialogue about, well, why do I feel a symptom right now? And then you've already logged in. You've already logged in. You've already logged in. You've already got back into the same bad habit that put you in the sensitized boat to begin with. So you have to understand, it takes time for the body to heal. And when you start to practice non-involvement, this needs to be a lifestyle choice. This doesn't need to be a 30-minute choice. This doesn't need to be a few days choice, unless you want to start to experience a tug of war. Because you will experience a tug of war if you don't give the body an adequate amount of time to heal. So this means no matter what sensations or thoughts you may experience during your journey, you have to stay on board with non-involvement. You have to stay on board with non-involvement. Now that really wasn't the point of today's stream, but I wanted to throw that little common pitfall in there because a lot of people do fall victim to that little trap. Understand that if you're going to dedicate to non-involvement, that means that you are making a lifestyle choice. You're not making a 30-minute choice. You're not making a 2-hour choice. You are making a lifestyle choice of no longer getting involved with thoughts and feelings. It's not the feelings that are fuel to the fire. It is your involvement with them. It is that inner dialogue that you jump right into as soon as those feelings are there that cause the fire to grow, that cause suffering to happen. So understand that very simple anxiety cycle. Only a lot of people do not dedicate long enough to non-involvement to experience true healing, to experience true relief, to experience true growth. So if you're going to make that choice to end the anxiety cycle by not getting involved, which we know getting involved is what caused it to begin with, then you have to make that into a lifestyle choice, not just a 20-minute choice, not just a 2-hour choice. It's time to drop it long enough and give an adequate amount of time for the body to heal, right? This is a lifestyle choice. This is not a short-term choice. You got to get on board and you got to stay on board. So involvement got you in this mess, and non-involvement will get you out of this mess. All right, you guys. And that is the point of today's stream. We've been saying it for the past few streams here on the channel. Shut up. That's what we've been saying. Let your negative intrusive thoughts happen. We're not trying to push them away. Let your feelings happen. We're not trying to push them away either, but we are shutting up. So we're not trying to push anything away. We're not trying to deny anything. We're not trying to curse at anything. We're just reminding ourselves that when sensations, And negative thoughts are there, negative intrusive thoughts and feelings are there to just shut up and silently allow them to be. And this is how you take your foot off that gas pedal. And this is where healing can happen, but you have to dedicate to this. Thanks for subscribing, Gaming and More. I appreciate it. I need to change that. That was a Halloween gift for my subscribers. I didn't realize that was still a thing. Thanks for subscribing, dude. Welcome to the channel. We are so close to 10K subs. It's good to have you here. Let's see. Let's read some chat now. That was the point of today's stream. I hope somebody takes something from that. And remember, I cannot stress this enough. Consistency. You got to be consistent with this. You can't, you know, experience a strong sensation or a negative intrusive thought, which is going to happen during the healing phase, and jump right back into involvement and jump right back into interpreting and jump right back into judgments and labels. You cannot let that happen. You cannot allow that to happen. You must be consistent here because you are going to experience strong sensations and you are going to experience negative intrusive thoughts, especially early on in your journey, even after you decide to not get involved. This is fine. Look at it as a test. Look at it as practice. Whatever you do, you have to stay consistent though. You can't have a really good week and then the next week a strong sensation pays you a visit because you're not fully healed yet. That is going to happen. And then you get right back into involvement. Then you're just falling right back into the trap that put you here to begin with. All right? Loving these daily streams. I am too, dude. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. What's up, Sparta? It's been a minute. Moji says thoughts don't have power. You have power, and if you evolve yourself with thoughts, you give them power. Exactly. My feelings come and go, but I still continue doing my thing and act like it's not there regardless. Don't log in. Don't get involved. It's not a denial of what we feel. It's not a pushing away of what we feel or think. It's just a non-involvement. It's a choice to not get involved, right? It's not a denial. We're not denying. We're just choosing to not get involved, right? The involvement is the foot on the gas. What's up, Face Paint? It's good to see you. Face Paint is extremely talented. Face Paint Fanatic, extremely talented. Her work is awesome. You're welcome. Yes, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. We have the power to change our thoughts. Well, we don't want to get too involved. We don't want to get too involved with thoughts because that's a losing battle. That's a losing battle. It's great to be a positive person. We talked about this yesterday. I highly recommend that stream. It's great to be a positive, optimistic person. But to get in there and fight with your thoughts just gives them a chance to stick it to you, honestly. It really does. Getting in there and fighting with your thoughts just gives them a chance to be fueled. If you really want to prove to your brain that a thought is not important, the best thing you could do is to not get involved with it. If you were sick of somebody knocking on your door, you would just stop answering the door, right? You would not answer the door and let them in and invite them for tea day in and day out, which is essentially what you're doing when you try to argue with your thoughts. It's a battle that you're not going to win. It's a battle that you're not going to win. If you know these thoughts are not important to you, obviously they're not. They're just negative in nature. Don't even get involved to begin with. And this is what I teach. This is what Moji teaches. Eckhart Tolle, everybody. The battle with the thoughts is a very stressful battle and a very hard battle to win. A very difficult battle to win. Gordon. Gordon Ramsay is awesome, dude. Gordon Ramsay is awesome. Always have pressure in my chest, especially in the car on the freeway. I feel my chest will explode. How can I eliminate that? You don't try to eliminate it. The more you try to eliminate something or resist something, the more you're just asking for suffering. Because there's nothing we can actually tell you to do that's just going to take your chest pain away. There's nothing we can actually tell you to do, like some sort of mantra or chant that's going to take your chest pain away. But what we can tell you to do is to stop resisting it and stop getting involved mentally with your mind and saying things like, how do I make this go away? Or how can I stop this? Because then you're just fueling the fire. You're asking for the suffering knob to be turned to maximum the moment that you log in. So you have to allow your feelings and your negative intrusive thoughts to be while you don't get involved. Eventually this leads to healing, and this will lead to the symptoms fading because you're no longer fueling the fire and you give your body a chance to take a break. Your involvement does not give your body a chance to take a break. So although we can't tell you anything in particular to do to just eliminate your symptoms, that would be extremely easy, wouldn't it? What we can tell you to do is how to stop adding second fear, as Dr. Claire Weeks calls it, which is your involvement, which will lead to the symptoms fading. But I accepted it and started to calm down. Yeah, out of habit, a knee-jerk reaction to resist, a knee-jerk reaction to get involved might still be there. Catch that. Catch that. so easy to fall down that path. It is very easy to fall down that path. But with true acceptance, we just shut up. We stop talking to ourselves. Involvement is when we start talking to ourselves. Involvement is when we start judging, reacting to. All of this is done through that inner dialogue. So when you experience negative intrusive thoughts, when you experience strong sensations, you got to shut up. You have to. You have to. You have to. The moment you log in with that inner dialogue, that inner conversation, you're going to start fueling the fire. You're going to start fueling the fire. This is the problem. We got ourselves in the sensitized boat by talking too much to ourselves, and we get ourselves out of the sensitized boat by doing the same. Back, looking forward to watching it later because your advice is gold, my friend. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you. Do you have any tips for making that distance from the thoughts? How do you step back and become separate to the mind? So, to become separate to the mind is to watch the mind. To become separate to the feelings is to watch the feelings. When you're watching without interpreting, without labeling, without judging, this is all done mentally. When you start to judge, label, interpret, that's all something that you do mentally. You have to leave that behind. There's no judging, there's no interpreting, there's no labeling. It's just a simple watching. We're watching the sensations, we're watching the thoughts, we're no longer getting involved mentally. This is the practice, this is the key, right? It does take time. It does take time. I'm guessing it's anxiety that scares me from my sleep lately. I can be in a sound sleep and get woke up by what sounds like a guy screaming in my ear. So, if you wake up from a nightmare, if you wake up from strong anxiety symptoms, we go right back into the advice. We jump right back into the advice. There's really no time to worry about it. There's no time to overthink it. When we're experiencing strong sensations, when we're experiencing negative intrusive thoughts that we don't particularly enjoy, we have to take that step back. We have to stop getting involved mentally. Getting involved mentally means to judge, to label, to interpret, to have this inner dialogue with yourself. You're just throwing yourself in a rabbit hole of obsession. You're just adding gas to that fire, right? So no matter if it's morning anxiety or waking up from a sleep with anxiety or whatever it may be, strong sensations, negative intrusive thoughts, it's all treated the same, right? It's all treated the same. Could you please explain how you watch a symptom or thought? By being quiet. By being quiet. So, a lot of people think that in order to watch my sensations and my thoughts, I have to interpret. Actually, this is the opposite. To interpret, to judge, to label, that is too much involvement. That is not watching. That is getting involved. True watching, okay, true watching is to be quiet. If we're actually watching something, we need to be quiet because it's not true watching if you're up in the mind getting mentally involved with an inner dialogue, interpreting, labeling, judging, putting attachments, labels, whatever. This is not true watching. This is judging. This is the opposite of true watching. True watching, if you truly watch something, and that means to truly watch something, then you have to be silent. So that means no more talking to yourself. When strong sensations and negative thoughts are there, there's no more talking to yourself. If you want to truly watch and not get involved, which is the advice here, which is how to heal, you have to stop talking to yourself. True watching is not a mental act. True watching is watching. You don't need the mental act. So that's what we're trying to drop in order to truly start to heal. That's what we're trying to drop because that mental action of the judgments, the labels, the interpretation, this is all a form of resistance. Resistance is pain. Resistance is second fear. Second fear is the gas to the fire. Can I send an e-transfer donation? I accept donations through PayPal, shorter1993 at live.com. Also, if you want to click the X on the live chat there, just like I think scroll up or down, I'm not really sure. Click the X, you'll see a link there that you can click on. Makes it a little bit easier. Completely optional. Completely optional. My father passed away at 53 years old. He had high blood pressure, and now I have it too. My psychiatrist told me that if I don't get it under control, I was going to die like my dad, and I'm obsessed with it. Okay, so there's two things we can do. There's one thing we can do, really, in this case. We can continue to worry about the high blood pressure, and of course you should follow the advice of your medical doctors. You should do whatever you can do to get your blood pressure under control. You should take steps towards getting your blood pressure under control. That's all stuff that you should of course do. But in the meantime, you have one choice or two choices. You can sit and you can worry and you can obsess and you can give in to this inner dialogue and you can start talking to yourself and fall down this rabbit hole of obsession, which certainly will not help your blood pressure issues. Or, or you can take the appropriate action to start to treat your blood pressure issues, but in the meantime, there's no need for inner dialogue. There's no need for the obsession. There's no need for the inner speaking to oneself that leads to this thought, to that thought, to that thought, to that thought. This will not help your blood pressure. Okay, so in life we can take practical action towards things that need practical action, but in the meantime, we need to be silent. In the meantime, when we're not taking some sort of practical action, we need to be quiet. We need to stop logging in. We need to stop investing, judging, labeling, attaching. These are all just words for resistance, right? These are all just words for obsession. How do you stop this obsession, especially over something that's so important to you? You stop talking to yourself. Negative intrusive thoughts probably will still come. Strong sensations probably will still come. They're no longer a problem because you've stopped talking to yourself. It's the talking to yourself that makes them into a problem. It's the talking to yourself that fuels them, right? So the key here is to stop talking to yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to experience negative intrusive thoughts. Like I said, that doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that you're not going to experience sensations, but that's okay because they're no longer a problem. They only become a problem in true suffering if you notice and if you're honest with yourself when you start talking to yourself. That's when they become a problem. That's when they become fueled. And if you want to heal, if you want to grow, you have to stop talking to yourself. In life, it's okay to take practical action where practical action is needed, but all of the talking to yourself outside of that, useless, pointless, futile, and you have to realize that it is the source of your suffering, right? What's up, PJ? Welcome to the stream, dude. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to be right back, you guys, in like 2 seconds. Gordon says, own up. Who puts ketchup in the fridge? Me. I'll own up to it. Isn't that normal? Is that not normal? I thought that was normal. Julie puts ketchup in the fridge. Yeah, I thought that was normal. Is that not something you're supposed to do? I mean, you're Gordon Ramsay, right? Give us advice. I haven't seen Jesse here yet. He's probably playing Destiny 2. He's probably grinding right now. Isn't that what you guys have been playing? Me? Yeah, I thought that was normal. I thought that was normal. Guys, I'm gonna be looking, okay? I'm gonna be searching for a program. I'm sure something like this exists. I'm sure it's very simple. I'm gonna be searching for a program for streams that allows me to have like a whiteboard, right? That we can draw on and stuff. People love the graphs. People love the graphs. But it's really hard to do that with Paint. It's really hard to do that with Microsoft Paint. It's like it's tedious. It's not made for that. So I'm gonna try to find a program that's specially made for that, and we'll see if we can make that happen. In England, there's a huge divide between ketchup in the fridge or cupboard. Same for chocolate. Now, chocolate, I tend to just leave out. Ketchup, though, I put ketchup in the fridge. Yeah, I guess in America it seems like most of the chat agrees with me. I guess in the States it's normal to just put ketchup in the fridge. Everybody does it, right? More of a visual learner, so it would help a lot. Yeah, a lot of people do love the graphs. It's just very tedious and difficult to do with Microsoft Paint. So I'm going to try to find a program that's specially made for like whiteboards and stuff for streams. I'm sure that's got to be a thing, right? Whiteboard for streaming. Let's see what I can find. Wow, I think there's looks like there's actually quite a few. Um, you could leave everything out. Digital whiteboards for live streaming. Um, Liveboard online. Okay, let's see. What? How's this guy doing this? Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that video later. I'll have to watch that video later. At work, it's 0 degrees Celsius in the warehouse. The chocolate goes solid. I can deal with the cold. I can deal with the cold better than I can the heat, but I don't know. That sounds pretty damn cold. Sounds pretty damn cold. Okay, so he opens that up. Inner window. Okay, that looks interesting. We might be able to use something like that. We might be able to use something like that. Could be helpful. Alright, we'll figure it out eventually. The Gatherer's Garden. That's my live wallpaper. Bioshock. Let's see. So we'll just pull this out a little bit. What's my plans for Turkey Day? Sit around, eat until I'm absolutely stuffed, and then probably sleep. Nothing out of the ordinary for Turkey Day. Let's see. Okay. He used window capture, right? I think. Okay, so there's this, which this is great, I guess. Like, this is okay. This is okay, but I mean, I'm sure there's a better way to do this. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. Alright. What does that mean if I keep that there every time Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's how that works. Cool. Sleep always comes after turkey? Always. Always. Always, always. Are you a fan of the Soul series? I've tried playing a few Dark Souls games in my past, and I've never beat any of them. I've never beat any of them. They're fun, don't get me wrong. I've just never actually went all of the way through one. I would like to make this to where um, probably about like that's probably the best we're gonna get it for now until I figure out other solutions. And you can always use this tool. Very helpful. I just need to become familiar with how it works. Like, yeah, I don't. Okay, there we go. There we go. And I could actually put it like maybe up here or something. No, that makes it do that. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, cool. I locked myself in my room for days playing Demon Souls, so I'm beyond hyped for the remake. Are they remaking it? See. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. That's awesome. All right, so we've got something kind of like a whiteboard worked out. I'd like to find something better than Microsoft Paint, but that'll do for now. That'll do for now, in case we ever want to use that. All right. Yeah, I did play Demon Souls 2, and it was all right. It was good. I'm just not that, I'm not that great at them. So, to be honest, everything should have uploaded just fine from yesterday's stream. When to use and not use positive thinking, that should be live on the channel right now. That was a good stream. How to lose the fear of anxiety, befriend your anxiety and panic. All good streams. We're doing this like daily stream grind now, so make sure you don't miss out on anything because there might be streams uploaded that you didn't even know were there. So make sure you check the feed. I remember the days I would stay up for 3 days straight playing Halo. I loved Halo, one of my favorite games. Loved it. This week's streams have been at the best times for me. I'd take you with me walking the dog and doing chores. Thanks for all the great info. No problem, Sammy. I'm happy to help. Like I said, yeah, we're trying to do like this daily stream grind. We got a bit of a streak going on, so we'll see how long we can keep that going. Um, Chances are you probably won't be able to catch every single stream when we're live, and if you want to watch those back, they do get uploaded to the channel. So just make sure you check the feed. I was obsessed with Elder Scrolls when it came out. Now Skyrim was probably one of my favorite games at the time. Yeah, around that time. I played a lot of Skyrim. I love games like that. I can spend hours playing games like that, right? But yeah, guys, if you miss any of the streams, always check the channel. They will be up. They will be up. Make sure you have that notification bell clicked. Make sure you have that notification bell clicked. Join us over on the Discord. I'm going to drop the link to that again. I'm trying to remember to do that more often. I believe we've got like 400 plus members now, so join us over on the Discord. I was reading some posts today, actually on Facebook. I follow quite a few like mental health pages and personal growth and all that good stuff, and it irks me to no end. It irks me to no end when I see like quotes being shared that are just so far from the truth, like um, about thoughts, especially about negative intrusive thoughts, about how you should fight with your negative intrusive thoughts and try to replace your negative intrusive thoughts. I mean, come on, dude. Just ask anybody that's been doing that their whole life and see how good they feel. See if they feel at peace. See how far that's gotten them, right? Unfortunately, though, fortunately, acceptance is becoming more world renowned. It's becoming more recognized. It's starting to be spoke as the truth, as the default truth for anxiety and panic and that sort of thing. So luckily, acceptance is finally making a name for itself. But you still have those certain people out of there that believe that they have to fight with their feelings and thoughts 24/7, which gets them absolutely nowhere, and they've been doing it for like 15 years now. Hopefully, those people eventually wake up to the truth too. I hope. Do all anxiety symptoms disappear after you overcome anxiety? Way too much inner dialogue going on here. So, look at it this way. This is a good example, and I'm glad you made that comment so I could make it into an example. Look at it this way. If you are sitting around asking yourself questions like, I wonder if all my anxiety symptoms will disappear once I overcome anxiety, what signal do you think that's sending to your brain? When you entertain and ask questions like that to yourself, when will my symptoms disappear? Will they ever actually all go away? What kind of signal are you sending to your brain? The signal that you're sending to your brain when you get to that level of involvement, which that's what that is involvement, that is second fear, that is way too much inner dialogue that's aimed at the situation rather than just being silent and not involved. What happens is you basically tell your brain there's something to be worried about. There's something to be worried about, there's some sort of threat. The brain sends a signal of anxiety, you get more protection. So instead of sitting around asking yourself, when will my anxiety symptoms disappear? Will this ever go away? This is all resistance. This is all involvement. This is all fuel to the fire. This is all second fear. All of this inner dialogue, all of this mental involvement is the very reason you find yourself still in this place. And that's a very small example. I know you're just asking a question on my live stream. But that's just a very small example. If this is the sort of inner dialogue that you have, this involvement that you have towards your feelings and thoughts, you're more than likely going to continue to send signals of danger to your brain. And this is why we say you became sensitized by being too involved. And how do we get involved? By talking to ourselves. And you become desensitized by reversing that, by doing the opposite, by not being involved. Because when you're not involved mentally, there's no way you could be adding second fear. And this is the key. Um, but to answer your question, do all anxiety symptoms disappear after you overcome anxiety? If you're truly not involved, yes, you will heal. Yes, you will recover. Yes, symptoms fade. But if you were truly not involved, okay, truly not involved, your anxiety symptoms, your feelings and thoughts would no longer be a problem. They would no longer be suffering. It's the involvement that is suffering. And the moment you stop that involvement by stopping talking to yourself, you'll see that for yourself. You'll see what I'm saying for yourself. Um, you'll realize that in time. Park, what's up? Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Learning how to shut up, PJ. Learning how to not get involved with my feelings and thoughts. This is a life lesson that everybody needs to learn, regardless of sensitization. It is huge. It is huge. It is huge. Huge, huge, huge. This is a lesson that everybody needs to learn, regardless of sensitization or not, right? Huge. All right, I need a pee pee break, so give me like 2 seconds, chat. All right, we're back, chat. We're back, chat. I'm all right. How are you? I'm doing good, Park. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Let's see here. Oh God. Close that. I'm not ignoring you, Chad, I promise. If brain damage is my fear, is my body going to mimic those symptoms? Not necessarily mimic brain damage, not necessarily, but what would your body will do if you continue to get involved with those thoughts that come and those feelings that come? What your body will do is register as some sort of danger. The body doesn't know the difference. Doesn't know the difference between you worrying about brain damage and there being a real threat to your life currently in the present moment. So it won't necessarily mimic the direct symptoms of brain damage. But what it will do is register that worry and that involvement, that mental involvement that you're getting into, instead of just letting those thoughts and feelings come and go without saying anything, being quiet towards them. What it will do is register that as some sort of actual danger. That's what it will do. Hey, Winterbro, my Puro has been so bad. I've been feeling depressed and anxious lately with some DPDR, and it's gone down the rabbit hole obsessing, thinking it's something worse. I might go crazy. Yes, so this is a big one, and this is one that I experienced myself quite a bit, worried about going crazy. The more you log into that, just like I told Park, same thing applies to you. The more you get involved with those thoughts and feelings, instead of just being silent towards them, the more you fuel the fire, the more the body registers as that as some sort of real danger, right? And that's how we get stuck in the cycle. Don't you have super chat? I do not. I don't have ads or super chat or anything like that. I just accept contributions through the PayPal right down there, or you can press the X on the live chat, and there's a link there, which makes it a little bit more convenient. But no, I don't have super chat or ads or anything like that just yet. Maybe in the future. Yeah, so Jimbo, it's very tempting to get involved mentally with your thoughts and feelings, and this is the problem. This is the habit that's keeping you sensitized. You really have to work on breaking that habit. Remind yourself to be silent towards your thoughts and feelings. Don't get involved, and you will see that it was you who was fueling this fire all along. And this is the habit that we have to build in order to heal, in order to give our body a break, right? You're still going? Yeah, we're still going. We're approaching the hour mark. Most of our streams go about an hour, 2 hours, something like that. It really just depends. It really just depends. I enjoy hanging out with my peeps, answering questions. Yeah, sleep is usually the first thing to be affected for most people. It's usually the first thing to be affected. Sleep and appetite are big ones. It can be, Jimbo. Just keep practicing. I know that's not a very satisfying answer, but really, practice non-involvement. It's so important. Watch my story video, Sylvia, to get more insight on my journey. I was what I would consider the lowest of the low. Thank you, man. I love your channel. Honestly, one of the only ones that has actually helped me practicing accepting things slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine. Slowly but surely, practice, practice, practice. There's going to be moments when you really want to get involved with those negative intrusive thoughts and you really want to get involved with those feelings, but you really have to practice taking that step back. Taking that step back and reminding yourself that getting involved is the problem, right? So you're going to have moments. You're going to have moments, but practice, practice. Let's see. That's really the best way to be, right? Just try to be straight about things. Just try to be straight about things. I opened a program and now we are on a black screen. Oh boy. I'm trying to get the stream back. Give it a second here. Come on. Uh-oh. I may have to restart the stream. Come on. Control Alt Delete. Control Alt Delete. Oh boy. Oh boy, chat. I may have to. What is my dog doing? Alright, guys. I'll be right back.